Bam. How are you? And I'm getting texted. That's not a good way to start a live stream. Let me just see. I know what's going on here. It's not good, but I'm looking here, and it's kind of rude to check your phone during a live stream. Let's see what we got here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right. I know what's going on. So, how are you? I am in on my live stream here. It's 2:30. Normally I live stream at 9 in the morning, but you know what? I haven't been live streaming at 9 in the morning lately. I've been live streaming during the day, just not at 9 o'clock. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to make of it. Part of me is I'm just busy, and part of me is being dragged in 14 different directions, and it's not in the live stream at 9 in the morning. If you've noticed, though, I've had live streams like 4 days in a row. There was one time I did 69 live streams on consecutive days in a row. And what did it bring me on my channel? Well, nothing. I didn't get extra subscribers. I didn't get anything. I just literally had 69 episodes in a row before I got tired. Now, this winter, I got sick a couple times. I still did live streams. Just for those of you out there who are looking at jumping into the real estate live stream game, one of the things that I've learned is that it doesn't matter how many episodes you produce. Doesn't really matter. I don't know what does matter, obviously, because I'm sitting at 14 subscribers. By the way, thank you for whoever subscribed this weekend. But it isn't just sheer mass live streaming isn't going to get you anywhere. You have to live stream about topics. One of the problems that I have in my own life and in my own business is I don't like to talk about things that are controversial or that I find controversial. The problem is what I find controversial might not be controversial to somebody else. So there's that issue. But if I could pick a side, like if I could pick a political team and be on it, then I could just throw shade at the other side and probably pick up quite a few subscribers just because I'm really hammering the other side. So here are some topics right now in the news that I haven't really been interested in talking about. One, Ukraine. I don't really want to talk about it. Gun rights. Don't want to talk about it. I mean, there's other things too that I'm not even going to say. Why? Well, I don't really want to get kicked off of YouTube. I know that sounds weird. Why would somebody worry about getting kicked off of YouTube? But I've seen people get kicked off of YouTube, and so that's what I'm worried about. I want this to be something that I can have for years and years and years, and just have a space where former clients and friends and family and everyone and even people that are just out there in the rest of the country can come and we can hang out. We can talk about some real estate topics daily. We can just, kind of take each day as it comes and enjoy it as it arrives. And we don't have to be always under the threat of losing our channel or losing my ability to communicate to you. Now, I do have an account on Odyssey. I do have an account on Rumble. However, I do not have the manpower to post these episodes on different platforms. I feel bad about it. But there's just nothing I can do right now to post these episodes in other places. For one, it takes a lot of time to upload stuff. If you have a lot of subscribers, if you have some assistance, you can get, they automatically will do it on Rumble. They'll automatically do it on Odyssey for you. But I don't have that capacity. And if you've noticed, I haven't had a podcast episode in 3 weeks. It's bad. All my podcast people, of which I had way more podcast listeners than I ever did my live stream. Those people are all probably mad at me, although no one's ever reached out and said, hey, I missed the podcast. It's coming back. It's just not coming back right now. Some things I wanted to talk to you about today was, I hate to break into a train of thought, but one thing I want to mention is you may not know who I am. I have 14 subscribers on YouTube on my live stream channel. I have 70 subscribers on my YouTube Deerwood Realty channel. But my name is John Shink, and I am the manager. I'm the founder. I am the managing broker of Deerwood Realty, a company that I started here in St. Louis, and we cater mainly to the residential crowd. We do some commercial stuff from time to time, but mainly we're a residential firm. And so we help buyers buy homes and sellers sell theirs. That's what I do. Now, on YouTube, I'm a commentator. I'm a commentator about events related to the real estate market. Now, it can be very, very wide. We can talk about neighbors. We can talk about HOAs. We can talk about financing. We can talk about, all the things you want to talk about within the realm of real estate. And then every once in a while, I'll jump into pop culture. Why? Because I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I haven't known anything about it for 20 years, maybe even 30. And I find it fascinating. So that's who I am. Now, who are you? I don't know. Some guy that watches a streaming channel, I guess. So anyway, now that we've gone through that, I just wanted to go over kind of where we're going for the day, like what's on the plans. We're going to talk about a wonderful topic for me, and that's continuing ed for real estate. Not exciting, not interesting, but we'll make the best of it. We'll talk about why I don't do leases in real estate, and then we're going to talk about a Google trend, something that people have been talking about. A fellow at Google is just determined. He really believes that he's got a sentient chatbot, and how I'm going to approach that is I'm going to bring that into an article that I had teed up for artificial intelligence in finding a real estate agent. So I think that will be fascinating if I do it correctly. I don't know. I did want to say, thank you for watching. I did want to say, look, if you think you would like this type of content, please subscribe. One of the bigger problems is, it's like, who is your audience, John? Who is your audience? My audience is anybody that's breathing and still on this earth. That's my audience. You say, well, you have to narrow it down. Well, it's weird. If you're a real estate agent, you may like my content, but you're already working. You already know what's going on, like most of the time. And if you're like just somebody that enjoys, the business, learning about the business, maybe you're somebody that might be interested in someday. Well, I could see where what I say would be helpful. No question about it. But, mainly we're just a channel that likes to talk about real estate stuff. And so if you think you would like that kind of stuff, you should probably subscribe. You could be the 15th subscriber on my live stream. You could be the 71st subscriber on my YouTube channel, the Deerwood Realty channel. But anyway, getting back into it. So in Missouri, where I live, St. Louis, we have requirements for the state through the Missouri Real Estate Commission that says every 2 years we must take continuing ed courses. I think it's 20 hours and made up of one core course and then 3 other courses. It doesn't matter what. I think that's how it goes. And since I'm the managing broker and the founder of Deerwood Realty, I have to do mine by the end of June. And if you look at the calendar, today is the 13th of June. By the 30th of June, I have to get my continuing ed done. Real estate agents don't have to have theirs done until September. I believe September. I could be off on that. You can correct me in the comments, but I haven't had to worry about it since I'm an agent. If I refuse to get my continuing ed, none of my agents can have their licenses with me, and I go out of business like the next day. So I have to do this continuing ed. So this week, I probably won't be doing a podcast episode. I probably will be doing continuing ed. And it's not fun. I don't want you to think that it's fun. I don't want you to be, it's totally terrible. Just speaking on my own, do I think that continuing ed can be beneficial for our industry? Yes, I do. But boy, oh boy, find me a topic that isn't messed up right now to talk about, to try and learn something from. Man, just crazy stuff. So I want to tell you what the classes are I'm taking this year, and then you can know. And okay, so the first class I'm taking is real estate ethics. Now that is the core course for the Missouri Real Estate Commission this year. We have to take real estate ethics. The second class I'm going to take is distressed sales, which in this current market isn't an issue, but maybe in the future. But even then, a continuing education course versus actually being involved in distressed sales, there's two different things. Then the next class I'm going to take is property hazards. That's like, what if there's poison in the backyard or something like that? And then the final one is applying for the mortgage loan. Now, what's funny is I'm a real estate agent. I'm a real estate broker, actually, I guess. I use the two interchangeably. They do actually have different job descriptions. If you're a real estate broker, you need to be recruiting agents. I'm not, so I'm not a good real estate broker. If you're a real estate agent, you need to be doing deals. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best on the deals. And so anyway, what's funny about these courses on continuing ed, and I'm not trying to belittle anything, but the knowledge level for any of these courses is of maybe a first grader. And so like you can't really go into the marketplace with any of this information, armed with any of this information, and actually get somewhere. When we talk about ethics in real estate, I mean, yes, it's nice to have a course. What it is you can now, everyone can point to this course and say, well, all real estate agents are ethical because they took a course. Whereas you couldn't say that if you didn't take the course. You couldn't say, you don't have anything behind the all real estate agents are ethical argument if no one takes the course. So that's why we have it. Are real estate agents ethical? Not all of them. There's going to be a bunch of, a bunch that are not great. But so what? So what? That, I mean, if you think that what do you find for me a pillar of ethics in the United States right now? Find me one industry that is just completely ethical and operating, according to all the thoughts and the philosophies to be ethical. Just find me one industry across the board. So I have to take these classes. They're baseline classes. They're stuff I've already learned. But one of the things I wanted to tell you that you may not have known that I had a good idea about is if you do get your license, I don't know about other states, but if you get your real estate license in Missouri, okay, understand that is like the minimum requirement to get able to earn an income. You still have to actually practice the business. You still actually have to be involved in the real estate business. And that's quite different than the licensure requirements. I mean, the license requirements are things like, hey, if you're selling a property, here's like a basic tenet. If you're selling a property as an agent, okay, you must disclose to the buyer that you are an agent, okay? And that you have an ownership stake. But that's not going to tell you how to get a seller. And that's not going to tell you how to get a buyer. That stuff's not in the licensure at all. They'll tell you how to, oddly enough, they'll teach you how to prorate a water bill, which I'll be honest with you, not necessary. Title company does that. I look over it at the end, okay, but the title company, between the buyer and seller, the HUD statement has to balance. So I've just got to worry about that. I don't have to worry about an individual water bill. All these things that you learn are not even remotely helpful to becoming a good real estate agent. And that's another issue is what is a good real estate agent? One that earns a lot of money? Is that a good real estate agent? I mean, there's no like set parameters for, we don't even know what a good real estate agent is. We can't define one. So, and I'm saying this, and I know you're out there watching and you're like, well, my real estate agent's the best real estate agent because they're my cousin or my aunt or a family friend. So they're the best. And you know what? There's nobody can beat them. And you know what? I'm happy for you to believe that. I really am. Because now you've defined what the best real estate agent is. It's your cousin or your other family member or your friend. So I had started on this. I kind of drifted off, but one of the things I wanted to mention is like, so for this course, I'm going to take this course. I think it's like supposed to be 4 hours or something about the mortgage application. I don't ever take a mortgage application. Never. If someone calls me and says, "Hey, John, I need a lender," I say, "Here's some lenders that I know. Give them a call. They'll take care of whatever you need." That's what I do. Do I get involved in the lending? No. Should I? No. Now, in this day where we are currently, where we're going above asking and we're doing all these creepy financial things that I don't like, that aren't good, I do have to know more about people's finances than I once did. There used to be a time when I didn't even like, I would get the pre-qualification letter would come across my desk and it would say like, they're pre-approved for this amount of money. And if you need more money, just let me know. That's what the lender would say. Nowadays, it's like, this is how much they can afford. This is what they want their payment to be, which is always different. And then, this is how much cash they have on hand that I have to ask about and know constantly, so that I can know two things. One, how much can we put down for escrow? And two, how much can we put down for the purchase of the property? So I do involve myself now much more financially than I ever did, but it's not in taking a mortgage application. And the other thing about that, let me tell you, like, this is what I would call, I don't know, street smarts, or what I deal with all the time. Look, if I can't get you a pre-approval, I can't be showing you houses on the buyer side. I'm not going to take your word for it that you've got good credit. That's a recipe for me for disaster. That's a recipe for me with gasoline prices at $5 a gallon for me to be driving around aimlessly showing houses that you could never purchase because you didn't even bother to get a pre-approval. And now we're going in and trying to buy this house against people that are paying straight cash. I'm sorry. That's not going to work. So, if your agent, if you call somebody tomorrow and your agent says, "Hey, I need to get a pre-approval before I can do anything," don't be mad. Just understand that they don't want to waste their time and they don't want to waste your time. That's the way it is. I have a weird story out of St. Charles that I read one time, and it was about this real estate agent that had got a call from someone and they wanted to see this house. Wrote an offer on this house, like $700,000 house. Offer was accepted. When the escrow money was supposed to be deposited, it never was. When they went to closing, it never was. It didn't happen. And then the agent was getting threats in the mail, like, "We're going to murder you," and stuff like that. And it turns out that the buyer that she had been working with was a complete nutso basket case. Never could have afforded a home of that space, of that type, and just really, really made things a mess. So what is the moral to that story? Well, I like to get a pre-approval. Today, we're going to drop there. We're done with that subject. I hope may it help you in the future. This morning, I got a phone call from someone. Said, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. I'd like to look at this property. I have time tomorrow and the next day." And I said, well, it was on my voicemail and I was going somewhere. I had a meeting. So I texted the person back right away. I said, I will get back to you. I'll get back to you this afternoon. So I came home, looked up the property that they were interested in. It was a rental. I don't do rentals. I don't do leases. You say, "John, why don't you do housing rentals, housing leases?" Well, I'll tell you. Believe it or not, during the housing crisis in the 2000s, I actually got my license then. I felt like there was a big mess going on and I wanted to be a part of it. I don't know. It was like a train wreck and I wanted to be a part of it. So I got my license then and I immediately got a job for a single family property management company. Now, single family property management is the lowest of the low as far as managing property, but we managed homes that were at the time expensive in that they were more than $1,000 a month to rent. And so I became a property manager, but I didn't even become a property manager. Really. I worked in the back end. I made sure all the rents were paid. I made sure all the utilities were paid. I made sure all the houses were repaired. And I hated it. I hated it. I didn't want to have anything to do with it and couldn't stand it. So when I started my real estate company, I sure as hell wasn't going to do property management. because I just don't have the desire to do that. I don't like to be in constant friction with people. I just don't. And third party property management is even worse, because if the owner doesn't give you money to fix something, you can't go fix it. You don't have any money. You're not going to use your money to fix it. And so this tenant is mad at you. They're mad at the owner. It's just terrible. So I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And back then, the commission was half of 1 month's rent. Okay, so let's just say on a $1,600 home, I would get half. Okay, if I brought a new tenant to the deal, to the lease, half. So $1,600 divided by 2 is $800. Now you may think, well, that's a lot of money. It's really not a lot of money in real estate. It's really not a lot of money. I can't even be bothered to drive for $800. Really. You say, well, the person may end up wanting to use you in the future because you found them this awesome rental. Never happens. Never happens. It just, life goes on. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but people die around you. People get new jobs. People move on. And for some reason, whatever bond you had isn't always there. It doesn't always stay. And so anyway, that was when it was half. Now the property management companies, a lot of people that own rentals, are paying out 20% of the first month rent. So I think I've got my math right, but let me just see on $1,000. I think, and I'm just doing this because, yeah, it's $200. I really, like, if I couldn't be bothered for $800, I sure as hell can't be bothered for $200. Just not going to do it. Not going to do it. It takes me more time, and I get nowhere. So unless this is in St. Louis, maybe if you're in Florida, maybe if you're in New York City, maybe if you're in California, maybe you can make money doing leases, representing tenants. Maybe, but I sure as hell can't in St. Louis, and I won't. If someone calls me, I just want you to know how it works, so it's not confusing. Someone says, "Hey, I know you're in real estate. I need to get a lease." I said, "Well, go to Craigslist and call the person direct." You say, "Well, you're not going to help me?" It's like, no. Well, why not? I can't make any money, and I can't spend my day. If I'm going, why would I intentionally lose money? Doesn't make any sense. Now you say, "Well, John, that's not fair. You should be helping people." I agree with that. You should be helping people, but I don't think you should be helping people at the expense of your own life. Like, what you're saying is your time isn't worth anything. It's already tough in the real estate world right now to represent buyers. And there's a lot more than $100 or $200 on the line. I mean, I'm sure you saw the live stream yesterday when I went over what houses are actually going for on their asking prices versus what they're selling for. I mean, it's just a terrible situation. I mean, every weekend I drive, and I write offers only to be rebuffed in my efforts. And it's just terrible. So I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So anyway, I don't do rentals. Now, if someone, like I said, so if someone calls, if it's someone that's a friend, if they want me to run a list of leases that are available, I'll run one, but I'm not negotiating with each and every, I'm not driving around to look at leases. I'm not doing it. If you don't like that, it's okay. It's all right. You know, one of the things I wanted to make clear about is I have gone through the business and had no clients. Okay. I have been in that situation where I have no buyers and no sellers, and it sucks. Okay. But once you go to that situation, you're not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid. If you don't like me, you don't like me. It's okay. I get it. So anyway, no leases. Now, you may be of the opinion that, you know, you might want to move out and get a lease and do that. And you might go ahead. There's nothing wrong with leasing a property or anything like that. It's just, I don't do it. I'm not involved in it. I don't want to be involved in it. And I'm sorry. That's where I'm at. So that is the next, that's the next portion of the show. One of the things I wanted to talk about today that I thought was interesting was I saw a podcast, which was a video, okay, of these two people. And I've seen this one guy was a guest on the show, and he's been a guest on many of the other shows that I've seen online. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to, cause any issues with anyone. But anyway, he is an entertaining fellow. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Entertaining fellow. And the podcast he was on, the fellow that did the podcast, I've seen him on other shows, and he is an entertaining fellow. When they both got together to do this podcast, there was just no magic there. No magic. And this is the first time I've ever seen something so stark. And so one of the things I wanted to work on with you is, should I ever get a guest, let's hope that I don't screw it up. And by screw it up, I mean talking over my guest, asking questions that are dumb, not being engaged in the conversation. And then also, if something happened that was of great significance in your life 6 years ago, and you've said the same story for the last 6 years, maybe something else has happened in your life in the last 6 years you could talk about. Like maybe we could talk about other things. Like you don't have to talk about what you were famous for, unless that's what the audience demands. And I'll be honest with you, if they demand it now, are you telling me they had never heard that story for the past 6 years? It was everywhere. But this is the first time I've ever seen where the sum is greater than its parts. Not in this case. Not in this case. It was not better, and a little disappointing. And so if that's the case for them, those guys had a lot going on. Can you imagine what we're doing on my live stream? It's really not very good. There's not even somebody to talk to. It's just me and you. And so that's where I am on that one. Let's go into, I'm going to preface this in a certain way. So Google Trends. I like to look at Google Trends. I like to see what people are searching for. The other day, the top search trend was the Tony Awards. I refuse to believe that's true. I refuse to believe that people are waking up Monday morning and looking at the Tony Awards. And so I refuse. It didn't happen. It may be in Google, but it's not true. But one of the things I saw in the trends was this story about a Google engineer, software engineer, who has been suspended for claiming that he has produced or he has a sentient chatbot, like an artificial intelligence chatbot. And so I thought we should go over that. But then more importantly, the key to my channel and the key to like the way I live is okay, now that we've talked about this, how does it relate to what I do every day? And so oddly enough, about I think the 6th of June, an article came out about a company that's a startup that's an AI focused company where that AI is going to find you the right buyer's agent or listing agent, depending on who you are, where you live, and all that stuff. I think it's absolutely horse manure, absolutely the worst idea ever. And then let's see, based on what we've learned about AI, let's just see if it's even possible. Let's get into it. I got to make sure, first of all, I got to make sure I did it. Okay. All right. So here we go. We go to here, and here. Share. Okay. There we go. You ready? It says AI experts say the Google researchers claim that his chatbot became sentient is ridiculous, but also highlights big problems in the field. Okay. Well, AI experts say the Google researchers claim that his chatbot became sentient is ridiculous. Well, the government said that last year that the gas prices would go down to below $3, crash below $3. And now we are sitting, I think gas is $4.50 a gallon here. Some of you out there are paying more than $5. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is on Fortune magazine. I don't know if this is like true or false. I don't know any of this, but I'm just going to read it. Let's take a look here. I'm going to hit pause again because it did it again. It says, if artificial intelligence researchers can agree on one thing, it's this: Blake Lemon is wrong. Now, I don't know if I said it right, and I don't want to cause any problem. But what I wanted to say is we always have to be aware of groupthink, beware of, and we always have to be kind of nervous when there's a consensus amongst experts. Okay? This is just something we should always be skeptical of. But anyway, it says Lemon is the Google artificial intelligence engineer who, in a story the Washington Post ran over the weekend, claimed that he was suspended from his job after raising concerns that an AI-powered chatbot he was working on had become sentient. Google says that it investigated his claims and found them to be baseless. It also says he was placed on paid administrative leave because he leaked confidential company information, as well as engaged in a series of provocative actions, including trying to hire a lawyer to represent the chatbot and talking to members of the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives about Google's allegedly unethical activities. Now, that's wild. This is wild. So I'm just from what I'm saying, it says he tried to hire a lawyer to represent the chatbot, and he talked to the members of the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives about Google's allegedly unethical activities. Now, my name is John Schenk, and I'm a real estate broker in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay? If I'm calling the U.S. Department of Justice, okay, the U.S. House of the Judiciary Commission, the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives, I'm telling you, they're not picking up the phone. They don't care about John Schenk, real estate broker, St. Louis, Missouri. They really don't. They're not picking up the phone. And no offense, if I'm this fellow, okay, and I try to hire a lawyer for my chatbot, and I call the Judiciary Committee about unethical activities, I'm fired. Like, it's not even close. Like, so, oh shoot, I don't get to read anymore. It's over. Well, watch this. We can do this. Let me see. Let me try one more time. I do this to do this like this. If it, okay. Well, now it gave it to me back. I don't know if it's going to stay here. No, it's not. So you know what we're going to do? We'll get a different article. Okay. We'll get a different article. Give me a second. There, fixed it. Let me put the link in the and put the link in my article for you so that you have it. Okay, here we go. So it says a Google engineer who argued that the company's artificial intelligence is sentient has been placed on personal leave. Spokesman for the company declined to elaborate on the reasons behind the suspension, noting that it has a long-standing private personnel matter, or it is a long-standing. Multiple news outlets have reported that the senior software engineer from Google's responsible AI team violated the company's confidentiality policy. His concerns reportedly grew out of his work with Google's Lambda model, which he grew to believe was sentient with feelings and emotions. In a Medium post after he was placed on leave, he wrote that he sought a minimal amount of outside consultation after his managers turned down a request to escalate his concerns. So he said, oh my God, this thing is alive. Let's go and figure out, let's go talk to a lawyer. Let's talk to the judiciary and see if we can do something about it. You're going to pull the plug on the sentient being. says, when we escalated to the VP in charge of the relevant safety effort, they literally laughed in my face and told me that the thing which I was concerned about isn't the kind of thing which is taken seriously at Google. It says the Google spokesperson told The Hill that Lamont's claims about Lambda being sentient were reviewed and dismissed. So, I mean, it says these systems imitate the types of exchanges found in millions of sentences and can riff off any fantastical topic. If you ask what it's like to be an ice cream dinosaur, they can generate text about melting and roaring and so on, they said. Lambda tends to follow along with prompts and leading questions going along with the pattern set by the user. Our team, including ethicists and technologists, has reviewed his concerns per our AI principles and have informed him that the evidence does not support his claims. While some researchers have suggested that automated systems could reach sentience, the consensus opinion in the space is that the technology has a very long way to go to reach such a point. Now, that's just the Hill article. The experts say that it's not, that we're not there yet. The AI isn't there yet. And so let me just double check on something. And so here's where it matters. Here's where it matters. Let me check something real quick. Okay. Huh. Interesting. So my thing is this, okay? Experts are saying this AI thing isn't, it's not sentient. It's not real. It's not alive. Okay. I strongly believe that. Just because. I just believe it just because. That's my reason. Hopefully that's good enough for you. But what I wanted to get into then is this article that I saw on that was launched. It says, this is in real estate. It says, Agent Story launches, providing consumers unprecedented transparency on real estate agent performance. And this says an artificial intelligence. Now, see, this, it gets a little dicey. So we just read an article where a guy's being fired for claiming that a sentient being doesn't exist, but AI does exist, and perhaps, you know, this can help. So it says Agent Story appends the real estate hiring process by using AI to predict the optimal agent for any given home. Now, do you believe that? Do you believe that this AI is going to find the optimal agent for the sale of your home? I don't, because I live it every day. Does it sound good? Can you get people behind this? That's the key. Can the people sell this? Can the startup sell this premise? Are people gullible enough to believe this? That's what you need. It doesn't need to be true. It just needs to be, you know, so that you can have a good opportunity to raise capital. It says a Miami-based real estate technology startup is providing new transparency in the process of selecting an agent to help buyers sell a home with Agent Story, a platform where consumers can access formerly unavailable information about real estate agents in their market. Great. Just what we need. Another way to select an agent. It says Agent Story's beta has been so successful that the startup is putting its money where its mouth is and virtually guaranteeing the performance of the agents recommended in its match index store, offering $1,000 to users if their house doesn't sell them within 6 months. Now, we are in the hottest real estate market ever. And they've managed to say that if your house doesn't sell within 6 months, we'll give you $1,000. If your house doesn't sell within 30 days in this market, you're in a bad spot. You're in a very bad spot. So this is total bunk. This is akin to your home sale guaranteed. That means if we don't sell your house, we will buy it back from you. That's what it smells of. It says designed to allow consumers to educate themselves before making the largest transaction of their life. I don't know that that's true. Agent Story uses transaction data and an unbiased AI-powered algorithm to recommend the optimal agents to any home seller or buyer. It also tracks agent performance in a sleek, user-friendly agent profile, reminiscent of an online baseball card that shows how many homes an agent has bought and sold in a given area, their success rate in listing and getting a home sold, the average time it takes them to sell a property, and benchmarks showing how that compares to other professionals in the area representing similar homes nearby. So let's dissect some of these things. So how many homes an agent had bought and sold in a given area? Okay, well, what happens if, so this is a general misunderstanding about brokers and brokerages. Let's say someone in my office, okay, and I'm the broker, sells a house. Guess who gets credit for selling the house along with them? Me. Okay, so on these real estate teams, when there's 30 people on the team, do you really think that the one guy is selling like 300 houses? Do you not understand right off the bat that this is totally bunk? I mean, it's obviously bunk. But anyway, their success rate in listing and getting a home sold. So let's say I operated in the way that this business would require me to. So let's say a listing comes to me, okay, and it's a terrible house. It's a terrible house, and it's a little old lady, and she's like, John, I got to sell this house. I got to move into a home. I can't take care of it anymore. Can you list it for me? And so I do. And so the house is terrible, and we get less than asking for it, okay? And it takes like 30 days. It's a unique home. It's got some features that everyone hates, okay? Now you're going to punish me for taking a listing for trying to help somebody else out. Stupid. That's not the way the business works. It's not the way my business works. If somebody wants me to help them sell their home, I'll help them sell their home. I don't give a damn about how many days on the market it is. If it's a shitty house and it's hard for me to sell, it's hard. I can't help that. Okay. I knew that going in fact. I'm doing it because I'm trying to do the right thing. And now you're going to punish me because on my online baseball card, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look, my stats aren't as good as someone else. No, thank you. The average time it takes them to sell a property, and the benchmarking shows how that compares to other professionals in the area representing similar homes nearby. So let's take a zip code. Let's go right into 63109. We know that a house just in the past 60 days the asking price was $300,000, and we know that it sold for $410,000. Okay. Does that mean that agent did anything to warrant that high of a sale price, or is that the market? So I'm done. There's no way that AI is matching me with another buyer or seller, and it's going to work out perfectly, like in any way better than if they just called me off the phone book, if there was still such a thing. It says agent story differentiates itself from others because it does not hide information behind an email or phone capture form. With Agent Story, users gain access to the data from the start and can opt in to connect with the agents they are matched with. It's like a dating site for agents. It's disgusting. Agent Story provides consumers data with useful information about why agents are a good fit. Like, why am I a good fit with someone? I mean, seriously, like, you're going to make that up because you have no idea because you've never met me. Other platforms on the market may make recommendations to pair agents and sellers, but they may be irrelevant. An agent that is miles away from them, or worse, may be based on a marketing agreement the agent has with the platform. Oh no, this company's figured out that Zillow agents buy leads on Zillow. Oh my God. Now, here's another thing. There's the myth of the neighborhood expert, okay? The myth of the neighborhood expert is this, that somehow because I live in one zip code, let's just say 63123, that I know that zip code better than I know another zip code like 63109 or 63125 or 63122. It's a myth. If you want me to go find a house on the buyer side, we'll go find a house. We'll find the best value in any of those zip codes. I guarantee it. And on the seller side, if you want me to list a house, I know what houses are going for in particular areas. We're not going to have a problem with a listing. I can list a home as far away as Farmington, and I would have no trouble. I'd get it sold as fast as any other agent would. Farmington's a long way away. It's like 2 hours to the south, and it's wonderful. So this is totally, this whole thing is preying on common beliefs that the general public has that is not even close to how the business works. It says, too often, the process of finding the right real estate agent to sell your home or to help you find the right home to buy is mired in mystery. Word of mouth referrals are helpful, but what if there's a way to match consumers with the ideal agent for the specific area they're looking in? Well, first of all, have you ever met a buyer? Do you realize that they don't always have an agent? Like they haven't always already set an area that they're interested in. So for instance, in St. Louis, let's just say I find a first-time home buyer that wants to buy a house and they don't know where they want to go because they've never really lived outside of their parents' home. They have no idea. And they say, I want to live in Baldwin or I want to live in Kirkwood. Those two places are very, very different. Okay. So you're going to give them a real estate agent from Baldwin? That doesn't help with Kirkwood. It's stupid. It's stupid. And then, by the way, God forbid you're a new agent on this platform. God forbid you have no listings and no sales. You'll never get anything on this one. Why would anyone pick you? Remember, looking for the best match and you have nothing to go on. With this kind of platform, consumers know who is worth their commission fees and who isn't. The right agent for a given property pays for themselves. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Agent story is hyper local down to a zip code, even a neighborhood. It is by the way, how many times have I been how many times I've been to a house that the quote unquote neighborhood expert listed for some stupid price that no one in their right mind would pay, but they were the neighborhood expert. It is a platform that provides consumers with the data they need to make a more informed decision about the agent that's right for them. And agents can shine via their own personal profile, showing users their track record for buying and selling all in one place. I don't know if you know this, but Zillow, on every sale you have, it's already got it right there. And you can leave a review if you want. I mean, this isn't new. This isn't new. And the AI that they're using, to be honest with you, since we know that the AI isn't sentient because we just read the article, what is this AI doing? What is this algorithm doing? I mean, what happens when you, like, no offense, but what happens when you get in it deals issues such as race, sexual orientation? I mean, you're matching up people for what reason specifically? I mean, this could get very, very ugly, very, very quick. Just terrible. So let's see. It says agent story. Matt presents homeowners with nearby realtors, detailing and ranking those agents' strong suits. What's my strong suit? I don't like to put up with bullshit like this. Agent Story's Match Index, which predicts how well an agent will do selling a particular home based on comparable historical transaction data, takes into consideration the attributes of the given home, particularly its location and value, as well as recent transactions involving that agent or similar homes. More importantly, it's the ability to match the seller or buyer with the agents that best know the segment of the market where they're transacting. Buyers and sellers don't know exactly where they're transacting or what they're transacting or what they're even doing. They have no, this is absurd. Plus, you're going to take this historical transaction data from a given home, particularly its location and value. So you're going to use this estimate to say, hey, this house sold for this, so this agent will probably be able to sell it for that. You've never been in the house, though. How do you know? It's garbage. The information provided to consumers during a home search and sales process is often very limited on purpose. We are providing consumers with full transparency into past agent performance, serving up useful data points that will help them make a more informed decision when choosing a person who will represent them for what is often, it's ridiculous. As I tell my friends, get their story before you hire, meaning look them up on agentstory.com before you sign the listing agreement. You may be pleased or shocked, but at least you'll know what you're getting into before making an agent hire. You have no idea. You have no idea what you're getting into. None. It says the old method of calling agents from a friend and family referrals is gone for good. No, it's not. It never will be. It never will be. Unfortunately, we're hardwired, very hardwired, to take the opinions of our friends and family much more seriously than some quote unquote AI algorithm in Florida. I'm sorry. It says using an agent that is licensed and has ML access but lacks the track records of selling homes like yours successfully can be a very costly mistake. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'll tell you what, if you use this product, then we're not a match. It's that simple. We're just not a match because that's stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, if you don't know anybody, I totally understand. Use whatever you want to. Go to Zillow. Go to this thing. Go to anything you want to. Go to realtor.com. Find an agent. But this idea that this is going to use AI to find you, it's not going to do jack. Not going to do jack. So don't waste your time. Last article of the day. I thought this was also interesting. I saw this being called out or referred to in a couple of spaces online, and Twitter, in fact, and I just wanted to go over it with you. It says millennials and Gen Zers do want to buy homes and they just can't afford it even as adults. Now, unfortunately, this is what I'm seeing in the marketplace. I have many young folks that are trying to buy a house right now, and it's damn near impossible. And if they do end up buying the house, it's very, very expensive, and it will set them back years financially. It says you've probably heard some variation of this question time and time again over the past decade. Why aren't young people buying houses anymore? The answer, according to a recent survey, is simple: money. No, it's true now, but before this boom, before the pandemic, no, they still wanted to buy houses. It says most members of the Gen Z and millennial generations, you as adults between the ages of 18 and 25 and 26 to 41, respectively, do want to own a home someday or even right now. The biggest roadblock is affordability, respondents said in a March Bankrate survey conducted by research firm YouGov. Okay. And what I'd like to say about this is let's be careful when we're talking about what a survey says, and then what would be the inevitable conclusion, in the sense like, okay, well, if things are not affordable, then if we just make things affordable, then everything will be okay. That's dangerous. That's dangerous because of this reason. Affordable housing has different connotations to different people. When you think of, like, let's just say there's a homeless person and you give them a house. Well, now you've given them affordable housing. Okay. But all millennials and Gen Zers are not homeless. Okay. I'm just trying to say, they can, and then they can't afford a house. Let me just put it to you like this. I live in a nice 1,400 square foot home with my family. Okay. I would like to live in a 5,000 square foot home. Okay. With my family. I cannot afford it. All right. So let's be a little careful with, affordability and like real affordability. I'm just saying. It says nearly 3/4 of American adults still view homeownership as a top hallmark of achieving the so-called American dream, being out the ability to retire, a successful career, and having children. Only 35% of respondents named obtaining a college degree as a key sign of economic success. I have 2 master's degrees. I don't view homeownership as the American dream, achieving the American dream. I don't. I just don't. And I'm a real estate agent. I don't think I don't want to cause any ruckus, but let me just say this. Owning a home or owning a mortgage, I think anyone would be happy to own a home outright. But there's this really terrible thing called a mortgage that you have to pay. And it's basically a note of debt paid to a bank for 30 years. It's not like you basically got, congratulations, you took on debt. That's not the American dream to me. To me, that's not the American dream. Congratulations, I get the opportunity to take on debt as an indentured. I get to pay money for many, many years. Or they take away the house, isn't the American dream. Owning your own home, maybe. Owning a mortgage on a home, no. Specifically among millennials, 65% identified homeownership as a top sign of success. That number fell to 59% for Gen Zers, still a large figure and neck with that generation's top choice of having a successful career. I believe we're going to go through some massive issues coming up. And I believe that if you polled these people at the end of the issues that we will encounter, I believe that they would think differently. And I say that because I've lived my life through some things now, and I just know, like, Like what you think when you're 21 and what you think when you're older, two different things. Not a negative, not a negative. I'm just saying. It says the survey polled 2,529 adults, including 1,397 homeowners in early March. Among the non-homeowners, nearly two-thirds said affordability was the main reason they hadn't yet purchased a home. Gen Zers largely said their income wasn't high enough yet, while millennials primarily blamed rising home prices. I think it's very expensive to buy a home right now. Either way, the sentiment is clear. More people would be buying homes if they could afford it. And let's talk about that. Watch this. Watch me do this. More people would be buying Lamborghinis if they could afford it. More people would be buying expensive dinners if they could afford it. That's since the dawn of time, that's true. So is it a non-article? It says non-homeowners cite insufficient income, high home prices, and not being able to afford a down payment or closing costs as the most common barriers to becoming a homeowner. High and rising home prices can contribute to the feelings of not having enough income or savings accumulated to buy a house. Well, let's talk about that. When gas prices go from, under $2 to close to $5, that's a problem. Like maybe all of a sudden, high gas prices contribute to me not being able to afford to drive. High food prices contribute to me not being able to afford to eat. So, I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem, but it's not just a housing problem. We've got an economic problem in the United States. It's obvious, to me at least. And until somebody does something about it and is really honest with the electorate, I think we're going to continue to have problems. I'm not trying to be a downer. I mean, it's very hard right now to see a silver lining in what's taking place. It says the housing market has caught fire over the past 2 years. Yes. Rising demand has sent home prices soaring at a record rate, up roughly 34% since the start of the pandemic. The market has recently shown some signs of cooling, but homeownership remains an increasingly difficult goal for younger Americans to achieve, due especially to the outside student debt loads and repressed wages that followed the Great Recession. In a Bankrate survey, many young Americans said they were willing to take some form of action to access more affordable home. 3/4 of Generation Zers and 69% of millennials said they consider relocating to a different state and moving to a more affordable but less desirable area, or taking a discount on a fixer-upper to achieve their dream. Let me tell you something about the fixer-upper. There ain't no discounts in this market. Moving to an affordable but less desirable area, the affordable but less desirable areas are the reason why they're lower prices, because no one wants to live there. They're hell on earth. So I just wanted you to see this article. I'm not ripping on the article, okay? I'm not ripping on anything. I'm just saying, look, the article itself is faulty in the sense that it says people do want houses, they just can't afford it. Yes, we all want houses, we just can't afford them. We all want Corvettes, we just can't afford them. We all want, the logic there seems to be faulty. I don't exactly know how to explain it, but like you just say, I want this, but I can't afford it. It's not really an argument even. Let's look here at Deerwood Realty for the time being. I am a little nervous, and I wanted to share with you why. I was down here looking at my interest rates for the 30-year fix, and it says it's 6.13%, over 6% for a mortgage now across the United States. Now, it's going to be different in different situations, but a 30-year fix conventional, over 6%, not good for the housing market. Going to be problematic. It's going to make it hard to be affordable. See what I did there? I took the argument and I just put it in this article. So, look, we got problems. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, at what point do people stop buying houses altogether? I don't know. At what point do sellers drop their prices? We've got a serious issue right now. Is, let's say you've purchased a home in the high price range, and now you're thinking about listing your home for what you think it's worth, but the market the people can no longer afford it because the mortgages, the rate is completely different. You either got to drop your price, which is going to hurt you, or you don't sell it and rent it. I mean, I don't know. you got a problem. Got a problem coming. And let me just go from my perspective. If someone said to me tonight, "Hey, will you help me buy a house?" Yes. Is it a good time to buy a house? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a fortune teller. Say, will you help me sell the house? Yes. Based on what I see, we should probably price it a little bit more conservatively than we normally would if you're asking for my strategy. But look, if you're going to decide who you're going to have list your house based on how high they say they can sell your house for, then I'm probably not going to be the right person, because I'm not going to lie to you. I think there's some serious issues in the market, and we need to be a little bit careful. But you do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. So with that being said, I think I'm going to head out. What did we learn? Well, apparently the chat bot at Google isn't real. Like, it's not alive. That's what we're seeing. Apparently, AI, as far as finding an agent to list your house or help you as a buyer, probably just a mess. I wouldn't even waste my time with that. What else did we learn? Interest rates are high, or mortgage rates are high. That's not good. So in general, not a great positive episode today. Not a great live stream as far as like, hey, we're going to leave this feeling better about ourselves. No, we're not. And I'm sorry about that. I like to try to be positive, but things I'm seeing in the marketplace, not good. Not good. Now, I'm not saying panic and sell or anything like that. I'm just saying be aware that there's things out there right now that don't look very positive. That's all. So with that, I'm going to head on out. Thank you for watching. I will catch you tomorrow